and won Rookie of the Year from my area. And that just kind of launched me into a business that kind of doubled in size every year for the first 4 years. So I was an individual agent probably for almost 12 years. And then I started growing a team about 6 years ago.
And what kind of volume is the team doing now?
Sure. So we're a small team. I have a buyer's agent and 2 admin. I'm a listing specialist on my team, and my partner is a buyer specialist. And we close 80 to 85 houses a year and do just under 20 million.
Awesome. And open houses is a very popular part of your lead generation system.
Yes. So every year in October, we schedule the open houses we're going to do out a year in advance. So this year we have 38 open houses scheduled for 2019. And we pick the house we're going to hold open every Monday. And it's marketed all week long until we do it on Saturday or Sunday.
So that's interesting. I just want to repeat what you just said there. You actually choose the dates and the times, because if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist.
That's right.
And you're not like, oh, I think I'll do an open house this week. You're choosing 38 open houses. They're in your calendar. All you need to do is choose the house.
We choose the house every Monday at team meeting. We do our newest listings first. So part of our marketing strategy and the value proposition we offer our listing clients is as soon as their house hits the market, we'll have an open house within the first week or the first weekend of that new listing. Because we know the consumer wants to see new listings, and it's the best opportunity for us to convert at a really high level because the interest is really, really high. And then as part of our listing maintenance, every time our listing has a price adjustment, we will schedule their next open house. So no price adjustment, no open. And we never do them back to back. There's always several weeks break between the properties before we'll go back again.
Just some housekeeping things. Do you do 2-3 hour open houses?
So I've been doing open houses for 17 years. For the first 15 years, I did them for 2 hours, usually from 2 to 4, and always on Sunday. Mm-hmm. About 2 years ago, after teaching this for a long time, I started testing the times to see if I could be more efficient, if it made a difference, if different days made a difference. And every market is different. Urban markets you could do during the week, after business hours, evening brokers opens, and you're going to get a different turnout or a bigger turnout. In Tulsa, for me right now, the best time is Sunday, and it's for 1 hour from 3 to 4. I get just as many, if not twice as many people coming in a shorter amount of time because I've created urgency and they're intentional about getting there, as I did when I sat in those open houses for 2 hours or longer every single weekend.
No kidding. 1 hour.
Wow. So I've removed times from my signs. All of my open house signs say open now. They don't have a time on them, which in the language creates urgency. They're advertised all week long on Zillow, Realtor.com, the Tulsa MLS, our Facebook pages, our Instagram. And then the day of, the signs go out, all the directionals have open now on them, and they're out until we leave. And I literally have people waiting, and I get there 15 to 20 minutes early every weekend just to set up and make sure, everything's okay. Every time I get there, there are people waiting for me to get there. I make them wait till 3 o'clock. And the whole time I'm there, I have a constant stream of people that I'm having dialogue with the entire time.
Let me ask you a couple of questions about that, because geographically, I've never been to Tulsa. I'm sure it's beautiful.
Well, it's not Sydney.
Not Sydney. Do you put 4 or 5, as many open house signs as you can, directional signs?
So I'm very strategic about how I do my opens. Maximum number of signs to the property, I do 7. If it takes more than 7 directional signs to get there, it's a bad open house. Mm-hmm. And then if it takes less than 7, then I double up. I'll put 2 at the entry of a neighborhood. I'll put 2 in front of the house, and then I'll put 1 or 2 within the neighborhood to get there. Uh-huh. But keep in mind, my open house signs are 2 feet by 3 feet big. So they are literally this big.
Yeah.
They're not little. They are, even for as many years as I've had them, I'm still the only agent with signs that size compared to every other agent that might be doing an open house in that same neighborhood at the same time as me.
Interesting. And do you ever have, or are you allowed to have a vendor sponsor you, or do you just do this on your own?
I do it on my own. I feel like the vendor is just annoying and in my way, and sometimes needs more attention than the people coming through. But we are allowed to sponsor, and vendors are always welcome.
Okay. Let me ask you, can I ask you another question if that's okay?
Sure.
I don't know if you know Ben Kinney, but I think Ben has one of my favorite open house scripts when somebody walks in the door. Do you have a favorite that you've had some success with?
Yes. So I have an entire guided conversation that I use with everyone that comes through the open house. My focus is always to build trust and start building a relationship with them. And so the second they get there, I meet them at the door. I literally welcome them into the home. I shake their hand, and everyone else that's coming through, introduce myself, ask for their names, and then ask if I could give them a rundown of the home so that they know what they're looking for or looking at as they walk through. So it goes something along the lines of, "Hi, thank you so much for coming. I'm Kasia. Please come in. What was your name?" And they tell me, and I say, "Can I take a minute to tell you about the home? I'm sure you've seen it online, but I'm sure you're looking at more than one today, just to give you a reminder." They're like, "Sure, go ahead." And so I go straight into, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,000 square foot home with a 2-car garage. As you walk through, you'll notice all the floors have been replaced. It's got fresh paint. The bathrooms have been updated. There's new granite in the kitchen. It's listed right now for $220,000. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be right here to answer them for you. And then I kind of let them walk away from me for about a second. And then right after that, I'm like, "So how long have you guys been looking?" And they'll tell me their story, and I'm like, great. So where do you guys live now? And they'll tell me where they live. And then I'll ask them, what are you looking for in your next house? And they tell me a little bit about what they're looking for. And when they tell me where they live, I ask them if they have to sell before they can buy. And usually they'll tell me no. And I'm like, great. So if they say yes, I'm like, great. What are the details of your home? I'd like to look it up. And I grab their address. If they say no, I'm like, I ask them for their information. "Oh my gosh, I'd love to see your home. What's the address of your property right now?" And I write that down. And the whole time I'm talking to them, I'm building a profile. Mm-hmm. So as I'm asking these questions, they're basically telling me all their wants and needs. And mm-hmm. since I told them about the house that they walked into at the very beginning, I spend the rest of the time that they're walking around the property asking them more and more questions. Gotcha. And so I usually keep with me a magnet with my business card attached, just like this. This is my something of value. I've been giving it out for the last 17 years in this business.
They still work.
And the whole time they're talking to me, I'm making notes. So I write down their names. I write down their address. I write down what they're telling me they're looking for in their home. I write down whether they've spoken to a lender. And they're just the questions that I ask. So how long have you been looking? Where do you live now? What are you looking for in your new home? Have you spoken to a lender? And that way I'm identifying how I can help them most. And once they've told me everything, I just simply ask, like, has anyone looked at your home? Is anyone helping you with this process? And usually the answers are no, right? Yeah. And so every time they share a piece of their story or they say no, it gives me an opportunity to add value by telling them what they need to hear next. So I would love to come see your house if it's something that you guys are thinking of doing anytime soon. What's a good address for you if they haven't already given it to me? As soon as I start asking for their contact info, for their address, easily they give me their email address and their telephone number. And then I set the expectation before they leave of either setting an appointment or following up with them to check in to see how they're doing depending on their urgency.
I mean, you make a good point. I think so many people, and this is what Ben Kinney tries to do, back to him real quick, is just like you did. You can't assume they're just there to buy a house. They may need to sell a house too.
Well, I'm a listing agent, so I'm doing that open house to market my listing, and I'm also doing it to pick up new listings. Mm-hmm. My buyers, I hand off. So if they don't need to list, that's great, but they're not as much of a priority for me as if they have to sell a home, because that's going to lead me to my next listing appointment.
Do you ever allow other agents in your market center to do open houses at your listings?
Yes, but they have to have been through my 2-hour open house class to do my own listings. Because that way I know I can guarantee the level of service they're giving my seller and also the people that are walking through that house.
And do you use a sign-in sheet? I know you ask a lot of questions. You get their name and you write everything down. You don't use a sign-in sheet. You don't use an iPad. You don't.
No, technology, depending on your market, can either be very intrusive and offensive or can be very helpful. Yeah. In my market, holding a device while talking to people is rude.
Okay.
And so I think if I had an iPad to help me sign into stuff, I don't think it may be a limiting belief of mine, but I feel like the connection would be less personal. Whereas the whole time I'm making notes, they know that I'm paying attention to what they're telling me and they're important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing everything down.
Yeah.
And I rip off the notes that I've written, and then I give them the magnet as they leave. And I tell them how to use it. I'm like, my cell phone is right here. If you see a house you want to see, I need you to text it to me. Just text me the address, or write down the address right here, take a photo of it and text it to me. Or if you need anything, just give me a call. Put this in your car, on your filing cabinet, or on your fridge, and I'll always be there to answer your questions.
You're not overlooking the simple things that we used to do at open houses, right? Because right now, the things that are intriguing to me is the technology that we're using. And it sounds like in your market, you're not going to get somebody to say, hey, can I text you my Keller Williams branded property search app? Or can I tell you about Keller Mortgage? It's not going to work in your market, right?
It's not that it won't work. I just feel like I'm going to get that to them, but I'm going to do it in a very personal manner. I'm not going to let them run free with it. I'm going to control how they're using it.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to refer them to, have you spoken to a lender? No. Is it okay if I hook you up with the best lender in Tulsa? They're an amazing friend of mine. They do an incredible job. I've been working with them for the last 17 years. If someone gave you that kind of referral, you're going to be like, oh my God, yeah, I totally want to talk to your lender. Mm-hmm. Or if someone said, we've just started looking, we don't know exactly what we want. Well, do you need to sell your home before you can buy? Actually, I think we do. Are you sure you need to sell, or are you able to build wealth and keep it as an investment property? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure. Well, let me connect you with my lender, and we'll figure out what the best option is for you. So it's always coming from a place of service. It's always coming from a place of being the connector, right? Mm-hmm. Rather than being about capturing their information, because the app, the mortgage, and any other piece of technology, that's basically why you're getting them to switch to that. And I just haven't had to change to that because I've had such great success building relationship, talking to them and writing everything down.
Yeah, you're building rapport, which, I warn everybody not to, I'm going to go use the cliche that I learned years ago in this business: high tech, high touch. Right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to tech them to death. You're going to touch them to death.
I really am. And there's a full process touch that happens within 2 days of me meeting them at the open house. Yeah. So right after they leave, I usually thank them for coming through a text message or voicemail. On Monday, I send them a handwritten note. So they get that in the mail by Wednesday or Thursday. And in the middle of the week, I call them to make sure they got my handwritten note and to see if there's anything else that they need from me. And usually there's an offer, right? Would you like me to set you up on a custom search? There'll be properties specific to your needs. Or when is a good time for me to visit about looking at your home and seeing what we need to do there to make sure you make the most amount of money and buy your next dream home. How's it going?
Good. How you doing? Oh, somebody's coming in. We're getting another call. We're getting another Zoomer.
Yes, awesome.
Let me ask you another question. Obviously you've had some great success with this, and a lot of this is coming from your business. Do you, when you get their contact information, are you following up them with a standard Keller Williams 33 touch or 36 touch now, or 8 direct or 12 campaign?
So what happens is once I have gotten their information, the first 4 initial touches have gone out in the first couple of days. They do go into a database that's digitally touched every 2 weeks. So they do get our newsletter. And then I also am pretty consistent with my lead follow-up with them. So I like to call my open house leads on Mondays. And depending on their urgency, they'll go into a category A, B, or C follow-up channel. And I touch them some with technology, but I'm not spanning them. Like I won't do that. I would like to custom build my 8x8 around open house lead generation, because I feel like the people that are coming to open houses are typically ones that will be buying in the next 4, 8 to 12 weeks. My busiest open houses every year, and the ones that lead to the most success for me, are always the ones done in January, February, March, April. Once we get into May, the weather here is crazy. We have tons of storms, the end of school, and there's wedding season and graduation season for us. And so people are very distracted, and our results start dropping in conversions. And we don't really recover from that until after the summer. So it's the first half of the year and the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter that we get the best results from our open house lead generation.
Just curious. I should have asked you this earlier. Your average median sale price might be.
My average sales price is $215,000. Tulsa's average sales price is $186,000. And I've consistently sold, the most houses I've ever sold is 107. And that was in 2015, right before I had my son. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, we've just maintained at that 80, 85 houses a year rate. Right now, we're pacing about 110 properties sold in 2019. And I feel like it's because I've finally recovered from having that baby.
Well, congratulations. That's with 3 people now. Remind me again. It's 1 buyer specialist.
2 producers, 2 admin.
2 producers, 2 admin.
Yeah.
Those are pretty amazing numbers. I wanted to ask you a question about big concern today with open houses.
Sure.
Is safety. What do you do? How do you prepare for that? And have you had any challenges with that or issues?
So when I teach my class, I speak about safety very briefly, and they're the things that I've learned by default. I don't even think they were conscious until I started putting together this class and realized that this was going to be something that came up during the course of sharing. First thing I do is when I get there is I open everything up. I turn all the lights on. I never, ever, ever go upstairs. If it's a 2-story house, I will not go upstairs while there are people in the home. Mm-hmm. I'll go up to turn the lights off before the open, and I'll go up to turn them, on before the open and off before we finish. Mm-hmm. But while people are there, I will not follow a group of people up there, and I won't show upstairs in the house at all. The next thing I do is I leave the key to the home in the door. I don't take it with me. I leave it in the door. I leave the key box open. And now with technology, it's easy for people to know where I am. Like my husband can look on Facebook and know exactly which house I'm holding open. Whereas 17 years ago, we were better about telling people where we were going, right? Hey, I'm going to be here at this time, because we weren't able to market the way that we are today. Mm-hmm. Because I greet everybody at the front door, I know exactly who's in the space all the time. There's never usually people that will sneak past me that are in the home that I'm not aware of. If they're abrasive because they don't want to talk to me, there's a difference. There's an abrasive person that doesn't want to be bothered because they don't care about what I have to say. Mm-hmm. But there's an abrasive person that's going to hurt me because they're trying to steal my purse or something's going to happen, right? And there's definitely a difference. Mm-hmm. The person that just wants in and out to look at the house and is abrasive, I know from the get-go based on how they're communicating with me. Their responses are quick, but they're paying attention to what I'm saying. They're not looking past me or around the home, right? Mm-hmm. Their behavior's a little bit different. Yeah. But I don't bring my purse into the house. I don't leave anything sitting on the counter. I have a little bag. It's a little Lululemon bag, like when you buy something from them, that has all my magnets in it. It has my car keys in it. It has a pen and my cell phone. And that's what I have with me in the house. I don't have a purse. I don't have a wallet. I don't have a gun. I don't have anything that they might want to take from me or that would aid in me getting hurt. Yeah. But if you do have someone that comes in that you get a bad vibe from, they're acting awkwardly, they're looking past you, they're scoping out the house, they're making a beeline for the bedroom or the master bathroom, you know what? My homeowners have insurance and I'm getting the heck out of there. Yeah. I will stand outside of that home and I will call 911 or someone to let them know what's going on, and we'll give them a full description of who is just here. Because I'm not, I want to see my kids at the end of the open house. Yeah. And if that house burns down or if something happens there, my homeowner has insurance. It's not my job to protect the property.
Good point. I'm just curious, out there in Tulsa, do you have gated communities where people have to check in when they come in and things like that?
Very few. And if I am doing a gated community open house, the gates are open during the time that I'm there, and I set it up with the HOA beforehand. It's a little different. I know Florida is different. I know you guys have gated golf communities and things that you work at, but when we're doing it for a short amount of time, we have HOA permission and those gates are open while we're doing the open house. Or else I won't do them because it's a huge inconvenience, and there's not usually someone gating. It's not a person. You have to have a code, and they don't want us to give out that code, obviously.
I'm happy to hear that you had success with, 1 hour open houses, because I think a lot of our people do 3 and 4 open houses, our open houses.
I just decided I wanted my weekends back, but I also wanted the opportunity to lead generate and to add to my database and to market my properties. And when I switched to that shorter time frame, and specifically for me, that second hour works really, really well. Yeah. I didn't see an adjustment at all in attendance. If anything, I have more people now because and they tell me, we saw that you were open at a different time. We wanted to make sure we were here first. And so they're paying attention. We're actually slowly training the public that there's exclusivity. And if you want to come, you want to see it, you have to come now. And if you miss it, I'm sorry, there's not going to be another one for a couple of weeks. Yeah. And I didn't want it to be always available. I wanted to create that urgency with my product, right? Which happens to be the house that I'm marketing.
$64,000 question.
Sure.
I was in production, but I'll rewind. I was in production for 23 years, and I used to tell my clients, my sellers, I'd say, when they asked me to do an open house, I would say something wise, because I'm wise, a wise guy sometimes, and say, I really don't need any buyers right now. And they go, well, what are you talking about? And I'd say, well, the reason I do open houses is, well, there's 2 reasons. 1, because you asked me, and 2, because I'm looking for buyers. I don't need any buyers. Because I never had any success getting buyers to purchase the home that they were walking through. How successful have it been at actually people buying? I know you get buyers from it and you get listings from it. People actually buying the house that they're walking through.
So my setup for open houses during the listing appointment is we do open houses to market our properties. Our open houses do not sell your listing. They never have. I've done them for 7 years.
Disclosure, right?
I've sold over 1,200 properties, and in all of my experience, I've only ever sold 3 homes from an open house. And so we're not here to sell the property. We're here to get you feedback. We're here to listen to what the public is sharing with us. We're here to market the property, and I'm here to meet new people. Okay. And I'm very honest about it. And so that way they don't expect an open house every weekend. Yeah. And we won't do it because it does affect our attendance. When it's always available and people can go anytime, and it's always open next weekend, then they don't make it a priority to come see.
Right. True. Makes perfect sense.
So we're very honest. It's an expectation that's set from the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. John, I saw you right. You got a question, right?
I was thinking of that question.
I'm asking a question of the audience.
Sure.
So one of the questions was seasonality of your open houses. Sure. Is there certain times of the year you just won't do them?
In August in Tulsa, Oklahoma, school starts in the 3rd week. Mm-hmm. It is 100+ degrees for weeks at a time.
I never knew that about Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's hot and it's humid and it's miserable. And we definitely see a lack of attendance. People just don't get out. Mm-hmm. I still do them, but I schedule my open houses in a way that there's usually 1 open house a year that no one attends. That happened to me 2 weeks ago, so I know that one's out of the way. Mm-hmm. Always in June. I have no idea why, but there's this 1 weekend in June for some reason, sometime during that month that no one attends. And then the rest of them, honestly, are busy. And my goal around every open house is to have at least 1 person. I just need 1 person to add to my database, 1 buyer or 1 seller that'll come through that I can connect with. And so I'm happy if there's 1. It was worth it for me if there's 1. I'm really happy if there's 4 or 5. That means I've had a good amount of time to talk to each and every one of them and really start building rapport and earning their trust and have their contact information, and the ball's in my court from that point as to where that relationship goes. And if I have more than that, then that's great, but the conversations are much shorter. And I focus really hard on choosing who I talk to. Yeah. If I have a person that's engaging with me over a person that's not engaging with me, I'm going to spend more time with the person that's engaging with me. Mm-hmm. If I have a lot of people there, everyone's engaging, but I have someone that I can tell is needing to buy in the next couple of weeks over someone that's looking to buy next spring, I'm going to spend more time with the person that's wanting to buy right now than the person that's going to buy next year.
It's not a bad Yeah,
I
it's a
waited.
better return on investment for a 1 hour for potentially, in your case, a $6,000 paycheck, right?
Yeah. And
Right.
the first 4 years of my business, every closing I had was an open house generated closing. I didn't get repeat business until I was easily in my third or fourth year. And so it went from 12 to 26, from 26 to 34, from 34 to 44. And then by my fifth year, I was at 50 to 55 transactions closed as an individual agent with no leverage. That was just me working all. And my statistics have been really interesting. When I go back and look over my multi-year trends, for the entire time I've been in business, my buyer to list side ratios are always 50%. Always. It doesn't matter how many I sell. We always level out somehow.
Really? We would all like to have that ratio, right?
Just stay consistent in your activity and it'll happen, because if the listing client's not buying with you, you have the opportunity to convert a buyer at your open house.
Yeah. It's true.
And if you don't have a database to lead generate from, then you have the opportunity to build a Met database from open house lead generation. I mean, it really is a win-win situation.
I think, my biggest aha is that you sit and you plan ahead. Again, if it's not in your calendar,
it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
This is scheduled lead generation time. This is not a fly by the seat of your pants, no advertising, stick a sign in the yard exercise. You do that, you're not going to get any results. But if you're intentional about the 15 minutes on Monday that you figure out which house you're going to hold open and advertise it on Zillow, Realtor.com, and your MLS, and an hour and 15 minutes you're there doing the open house, there's no way you're not going to get results every single time.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot. It's easier than making calls, in my opinion.
Sure it is. And you get to actually
you just have to know when you're working and know when you're not. I don't work holidays. I don't work my kids' birthdays or my birthday. I don't work anywhere where I know it'll interfere with attendance. So Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and then all our birthdays. And that literally leaves you with 38 to 40 open house opportunities a year. And that's not you working all weekend, it's very intentional.
And sometimes you might get something else helpful out of it, because I heard you say you ask for people's opinion of value, what the thoughts are. You might just get the seller to be convinced that it's time to do a price adjustment.
Our price adjustments happen every 2 to 3 weeks from the minute the house is listed based on activity. So I set the expectation that when you're in the launch period of a new listing, you should have nonstop activity. If you don't, and it goes both ways, if no one's coming to see the house, or if we have 10 showings and no offer, we've made a mistake and we need to adjust quickly or we're going to miss your opportunity. So after the first open house, within the first 2 weeks of an active listing, we have that conversation. Hey, you guys, remember I talked about this at the listing appointment? We've been on the market 15 to 21 days. We've had our first open house, which was amazing, but we've had no showing activity since. I feel like we've made a mistake and we need to adjust quickly so we don't miss any other opportunities. And we go straight into that price adjustment script. And we let them choose. Here are your options. We're listed at 220. You can choose 215 or 210. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
And that's it. And I very rarely have resistance. Maybe 1 in 50 will resist me, but not for long. Because having your house listed is a huge pain in the bum and it's a lot of work.
It is. And it's a system that you have. It's a
system. My job is to make money, and I need to make money every 60 days.
Yeah.
And I need to keep that funnel full, or else I'm not going to be able to live my life by design, right? And the only way to do that, since you've already done the really hard work of getting the listing, is to getting that listing to the closing table.
John, you want to ask a question? Did you?
Yeah. I was wondering, first of all, do you ever do open houses during the week, or are they not worth doing? And what are the second follow-up would be, you talked a little bit about it, but maybe dig a little deeper on what you think is most effective to get the maximum amount of people to the open house.
Okay, maximum amount of people is advertising. So get it advertised early, a week in advance at least, minimum 4 days notice online that the house is going to be open. Directional signs are important. People don't come because they're there, but you're easier to find, which means the process or experience itself is better. The next thing that I would do is I would focus on easy to find properties. So properties that aren't, 17 blocks into a subdivision that you just give up trying to find because you're lost. You don't know where you're going and it's taking too long. And then the other thing that I would focus on is price range. So you want to do desirable price points, and you want to do newer inventory, because they're the ones that people want to see the new stuff. No different to when you're shopping seasonally in a store. You're going to go see what's just hit the rack if you're buying something new, rather than what's been there for the last 3 months and is $4 on the back wall on the sale rack. That's what I think guarantees attendance. I think if you are ever in a position to create exclusivity, you're going to have a better turnout, which is why I do them for a shorter amount of time. I only do them on new listings, and I don't do them back to back. I think that affects attendance. When they're always open, there's nothing special about it, because that people can go anytime. As far as answering your question of doing it during the week, if you're going to do it during the week, you need to be very strategic about what day of the week you're doing it, depending on what's happening in your area. Like, for example, in Oklahoma, we would never do a after hours open house. So a, happy hour open house basically on a Wednesday, because here people go to church on Wednesdays. So it wouldn't be attended, and it would be kind of sacrilegious. People in Oklahoma are interesting when it comes to religion. But Thursday's a great day, right? Thursday's a great day to do a happy hour open house. It's almost the weekend. There's not a ton of activities going on. It's not Friday where everyone's tired just yet. I have done open houses during lunchtime near urban areas, so where people have to park to go eat at those restaurants, and I've had amazing attendance at those. And then the only other option, and if you're going to do a happy hour open house, you may as well do a happy hour Burpers Open and invite the entire realtor community, because then you have people stopping, wanting to know why there are so many cars in front of this property. I think it just helps with attendance. Mm-hmm. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
It's great answer.
You're welcome.
Somebody had another question. Do you do, we call it circle prospecting. Do you go door knocking around the home 2 or 3 days before you do an open house?
Not 2 or 3 days before. My coach made me do it the day of. So the open house was advertised from, I think this one was from 2 to 3, maybe. I always do 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, but usually 3 to 4 works better for me, because it gives me more time with my kids on Sunday, and then I can just come home and dinner's ready and it's not a big deal. I do door knock. It does work, and it's a great way to meet the people that live in that area. I don't do it days before. I do it on Sunday, an hour before the open house is supposed to start. And I very strategically give them my something of value that stays in their house forever and ever and ever, as well as invite them to the open that's starting in 45 minutes or an hour or whatever it is.
I'm smiling because I heard you say, my coach made me, my coach makes me do a lot of things.
Yeah. When the day that I committed to doing that, which wasn't that long ago because I hadn't done it in a while, I literally cried on my way to the open house. I had a feeling. And then he called me, he goes, how was it? I go, oh my God, it was so good. I met 10 neighbors, got 6 people's contact information. I sent them handwritten notes. They all came to the open. It was amazing. He's like, see?
Your body language is exactly the same body language I have when I'm asked to do something by my coach or any of us that we're not comfortable with. So thank you for being.
Yeah. Sometimes even a seasoned oldie that get great results get very conditioned in doing what we're used to, rather than doing something we're uncomfortable with. Now, do I know the script? Sure. Am I confident in my ability? Absolutely. Put me in front of people and I guarantee you I will set an appointment, or at least get multiple contacts to add to my database. Was I comfortable going door to door? No, I wasn't. It was really intimidating for me. But that same script that you use at the open house, how are you? Where do you live? How long have you been looking? Have you spoken to a lender? Is anyone helping you with this? You need a list before you can buy. This is the same script you use when you get a sign call.
Yeah.
The same conversation you have face to face when you're at a networking opportunity, right? Fastest way to talk about real estate when you're networking is ask someone where they live.
Yeah, Jim, our broker, on that note of, and I'll just share it, on that note of knocking doors around your open house, he felt a good opportunity, a good question would be, hey, listen, guys, one of the things I neglected to do was ask my seller why they love this neighborhood so much. So I'm going to ask you, why do you live here?
Yeah.
So I can share that with the people coming through my open house. And they love telling you that stuff, right?
Especially if they love where they live. You have the two spectrums, right? You have the people that love where they live. They can't stop bragging about where they live. And then you have the people that hate where they live. And that's your next opportunity.
That's your next opportunity.
Right? If they're like, oh my God, I hate my house. Why do you hate your house? The floor plan, the carpet, whatever it is. I was like, well, we can put new carpet in it, or we can just buy you a new house. Which one do you want to do?
Yeah. Right. So opportunity. That's what we're looking for every minute of every day, opportunity.
Anytime that there is some kind of objection, anytime. Do you have a flyer? No, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't give out flyers, but I can email or text you a link to the property. What's your email address? What's your telephone number? It is just another opportunity to get their contact information. Hey, do you know how the roof is? I actually really do, because I research and study these disclosures. No, I'm so sorry. Let me ask the seller. What's a good number for you so I can get you those responses or those answers? What's your email address so I can text you or send you the disclosure?
That's a nugget right there.
Oh my gosh, any objection. It doesn't matter what it is. Do you know how old the hot water heater is? No, I don't. Let me get your contact information. I'll find out for you and I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
It is just another opportunity to be of service and to get their contact information and get in relationship with them. But the flyer question is the most commonly asked, and I do not give out flyers. They literally just throw them in the trash. I give them this instead. And then I text them information about the house, or I can give them the app at that point if they want to. They can look it up on the app, right, with the address. Or it's usually information about the house that they want to know that sometimes I really don't know the answer. Sometimes I do. And if I do know, I'll be like, you know what? I can't remember exactly, but let me send you a copy of the disclosure. Would that be helpful? Oh my gosh, that would be great. And we share it that way and still capture all their contact information.
And that's my second aha, because we were talking about this the other day, and I think we're quick to run up to somebody's door and say, hey, here's a beautiful flyer of them, and you've got nothing from them, and they've got something that they can throw in the trash.
Yep. Next time they get gas, all that stuff goes in the bin.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. You know, I don't want to keep you over an hour here, but what other things that your top, besides the great ideas you've given us?
Sure.
Anything else that you want to share with us that has made open house as a part of your business, and you're going to continue to do it?
Sure. So I think, like anything, and Gary teaches this and all of our coaches teach us this, is that if you want a good result, it starts with mindset first. If you're turning up to your open house thinking, this is such crap, I hate being here, no one's going to come, then you are literally attracting that experience to yourself. Whereas if you turn up with that mindset or the attitude of, oh my gosh, I'm here for an hour, it's going to be amazing, this is a brand new listing, I'm going to shoot my face live video from here, I'm going to post all over social media about it, and people are going to love it, they're going to see that I'm active in my business, that I'm providing great service to my listing clients, and I'm going to meet some great people, and this is going to turn into something much better, then that's exactly what your experience is going to be. And that enthusiasm will come out of you as you're engaging with other people. My next tip is be prepared. Have the comps, have the disclosure, have the taxes, know the information. And if you don't know, never lie. Always check and be honest about it. I'm so sorry, I don't remember, or I don't know that information. Let me contact the seller or the HOA president and I'll get that for you. What's a good number and email address so I can forward that on?
Yeah.
Because people love sincerity, and you are human by telling them that you don't know. It's not because you're not prepared. It just may be an awkward question. When you know the market, because you pulled a CMA and you understand what's available for sale in that subdivision, if that house is not a fit for them, you always have a backup, right? You know what? I know exactly what you're looking for. I saw that house the other day. Let me quickly send it to you. And if you want, I'm done here at 4 o'clock. I can set up a showing and we can go look at that one as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So have that information with you. The next thing is, if this is going to be a lead generation lever for you, right? It's going to be an arm of your business. You're going to be converting leads through this opportunity or this action. Then really think through the process and how you're turning up. Not only is it your mindset, but everything needs to be alignment with what you're marketing, right? The way I can't turn up to a $100,000 house dressed the way that I usually dress, because I would intimidate the hell out of the people that would turn up to look at that house. Just like I can't wear jeans and a t-shirt to a $500,000 property, because I would offend the people that are turning up to that house.
Yep.
So the way that you're presenting yourself needs to be in alignment with the value of that property, right? You need to look like whoever is representing that property. You should be easily identifiable in that space.
It's perfect. Mindset number one, right?
Mindset number one.
90% of our success is mindset, right?
Everything is
when we're picking up the phone, knowing the property, knowing the back of the property, the market, right? Yep. And playing to the audience really that you're going to be visiting with.
Exactly. And all of that is great, but none of it means anything if it's not scheduled and intentional. Pull out your calendar today, look at it 90 days in advance, pick the 10 houses you're going to hold open. That's one weekend a month that you have off to do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And spend some time really mastering that and get the guided conversation down. Greet them at the door. Introduce yourself. Let them know about the property. Spend the rest of the time visiting with them, about them.
Yeah. I got to say it again for those people that are just speeding through this, because this is being recorded, by the way. I hope I didn't disclose that earlier.
I'm glad I didn't cuss at all.
You're from Australia. You don't cuss. People from Australia don't cuss, do they?
A lot. Like, it's more cuss words than English, I think.
But the whole you spend your Mondays talking about you've already got it scheduled, so now all you have to do is pick the house that you're going to do it at.
Yep.
Hello. Was that an easy one? Genius.
So easy. And it's done. You don't have to think about it again until you turn up. And when you turn up, you're ready. You don't need flyers. You have your something of value. When you have your something of value, you can text them the information about the house from realtor.com or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. So many of our agents, I'll see them if I'm ever in the office on a Sunday, I'll see them run in, and then, what are you doing? Oh, I'm making flyers for my open house. I'm doing this and get my sign-in sheets. And no.
Nope.
Take Kasia's advice. Have a bag full of magnets with no to-do lists, things to do. And
that way you're giving them a little gift. And it's so funny. This is so stupid. I think this costs like 55 cents, right? Yeah. I go through 2,000 of these a year. Everyone gets one. Open house leads, listing appointments. I have them in my car. I give them to every single person I talk to. Oftentimes people are like, oh my gosh, is this whole thing for me? And I'm like, yes, you can use it however you want. They try to take my card off of it. I'm like, no, you can keep the whole pad. It's okay. This is for you. We're good.
It really is an inexpensive tchotchke, as we used to say.
It's a lot less expensive than a flyer because they actually hold on to it. This has staying power, whereas all that other stuff literally goes into the trash the second they go to get gas.
It does. Sometimes these sit in people's cars too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
They don't know what it is. It's not a value to them.
One last question. At what point, and this is about open houses because you're lead genning, but and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
We really appreciate your time, but at what point do you ask these people that you've met at, I don't know if you do it in an open house, if they know anybody who's interested in buying and selling or investing in real estate? Ask for a referral.
I don't, because they don't know me.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about getting them into a Met database with me. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like I'm at the point where I could ask for a referral because I haven't shown them anything yet other than I'm knowledgeable, professional, on time, and want them to work with me. Now, if they're a neighbor, then I ask.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, we're just neighbors. That's great. I'm so glad you're here. Who do you know that wants to live in your neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any, can you call them? Can you invite them? Can I call and invite them?
Always asking. Yeah.
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 So
To the-
I don't
to the
ask
appropriate people.
that person, but the next, but I do ask people that legitimately aren't interested.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's no harm, there's no harm in it, right? Like,
It
you
makes
don't like
perfect
it, that's okay. You don't have to like it, but who do you know that might like it?
sense. Yeah.
Can I have their name? Can I have the number? Here's a magnet. Here's my contact information. Take this with you. If you think of someone, call me. I teach them how to use it.
Well, this has been great. Hey, are we going to see you at Mega Camp?
I will be there Monday through Wednesday. Yes.
Monday through Wednesday. A lot of us with leadership in this room will be there Monday through Friday. Hopefully we get a chance to meet you. I mean, we're old friends from about an hour and a half ago.
I know.
So I truly appreciate this, and sorry for the technical difficulty.
It's okay. No problem. It happens.
The value you've brought to these people is fantastic, and it was a pleasure for me to be able to meet you.
Well, it was my pleasure to serve.
Is this where we say good day, mate? Is it? No, did you say that to me?
I don't even know, what do they say? Good day, mate is like a hi, how you going?
Oh, okay.
And bye, I don't even know if they say bye. I think they just like leave. I'm not even sure. There's, Aussies are really
turn around and walk away.
Pretty much, like, all right, we're done. Okay, good. See ya. But no, you guys, you can reach out to me anytime. I'm the Aussie Realtor. I'm here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at Mega Camp. You'll see me around. If you want to connect, find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, find me on the internet. Just literally type in Kasia or Aussie Real Estate Team or Aussie Team Tulsa, and it'll pull all my contact information up. And I'll love to connect with you. We'll grab a cocktail or have a small meeting at the main hall or the convention pod, and it'll be great.
We'll find you, I promise you. All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you for letting me share. I really am passionate about this. I'm putting together an online version of this so it's accessible to more people. I hope to have that done by November of this year. If you are interested in something like that, I just email me and I will make sure that you get that once it's ready. And I would love to see you guys. I'll actually be in Sarasota for Thanksgiving this year. So I'll be there the last week of November.
Oh, no kidding. All right. Well, we're sure to be to connect, and maybe we can get some people to meet you. Or maybe have you come down here and say hi to our market center and talk about this again.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
I teach this everywhere. And the 2-hour course is really in depth. So today was kind of like the highlights.
Yeah.
But there's a before, during, and after procession that I go through and go deep into some of the scripts and some of the mindset stuff that we use to really amp up your results.
All right. Now we're okay. We'll see you around Thanksgiving. We're all
calendar out.
Yeah. I'll be there the last week of November, probably Saturday through Saturday, and I don't remember what the dates are. Let me tell you what they're going to be. I'll be there the 23rd through the 30th for sure.
We'll have to find time to send a limousine up there to get you and bring you down.
That sounds great. Well, have an amazing day, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your summer. I'll see you in Austin, and if you need anything, just shoot me a text or give me a call or an email, and I'd happily come visit with you guys.
Thanks, Kasia. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.